In the workshops, I think there's only 2 teachers I've had that talked about the embrace. The rest were all done through privates.
Yeah.
And maybe they might have said it like in passing, like, oh, you're supposed to do this, this, and this, but it wasn't like the whole class on the embrace.
I gotta search for what this embrace means. What does this mean with the embrace? How do I connect with the embrace? And then that actually kind of set me back a long time in my tango in the first few years because I was so locked in on the embrace that I forgot about the ground. And because, they don't mention that.
Yeah.
So if you are watching this and you are a tango dancer, you have probably heard the term Argentinian embrace. And for those of you who dance tango, it's something that's hard to describe, but when you feel it, you're just like, I kind of get it. And many times before, when I've been dancing, I remember when I first started, Brian was just like, oh yeah, you should dance with those 2 ladies. He pointed to 2 ladies. They happened to be Argentinian. And I was probably in my first year. And when I first embraced them, I was like, all right, wow, this is different. I feel like they are giving me like their spirit somehow. Like they're giving me every ounce of fiber of their body in their embrace to me. Not in a bad way, but just in a way of just like, they're there and it's just so present and just so fluid and dense at the same time. It's just like, and I was just like, wow, like what, how do you get that? Can you teach that? Can you learn that? And what do I sign up? How do I, how do I find how to create this magic? And so it kind of gets us wondering in this video, like, is the Argentinian embrace something that is just something internalized from their culture, from how they grew up, from from where they lived? Is it just something that's bred from that, or is it something that can be learned? So, if you're not Argentinian, can you learn the Argentinian embrace? And so it's an interesting thought, an interesting question. But yeah, what are your opening thoughts about what were your first experiences when you just like, oh, that's the Argentinian embrace?
The closest thing the best word I would use to describe it is a cross between enchanted and bewitched.
Okay.
No, I'm not kidding.
Enchanted and bewitched?
Yes, because the thing is, it's almost like I was so in the zone that I didn't know what was going on, and my body just was moving, Because how there's a whole thing of like, she moves and you move, she moves and you move, that kind of idea, where like you lead, but then you follow the follow. And it was almost like this vortex just pulling me all over the place, and I didn't know what was going on, but it felt so good, and I was like, I just went with it, like, all right, let's go for the ride, So, enchanted and bewitched is probably the best words I could describe. I mean, yes, there's that whole, she's dancing through you. Like you could feel every ounce of everything that she's doing. And even with the guys, when I dance with the guys as a follow, like an Argentine guy, like I feel that also. But seriously, this whole enchantment is the best way I can think about it, because it's almost like my brain can turn off. And then I could be super present.
Interesting.
Because many times when I'm leading and
you're just trying to think about, what do I do next? Sequence, figure.
Yeah, or like I'm trying to pay attention to the music. Like, what is the music trying to tell me to do? But when I've experienced this type of embrace, it's almost like everything can be turned off, and then I reach almost like this state of nirvana where I could just be present. And it's almost like I don't know how to get there by self, but something took me there. And I can only attribute that to the Argentine embrace.
For me, it really helped me feel the music, right? There's more than just hearing the music. It's like you become the music. It's in this embrace. It's like you don't want to leave it. Yeah. It's like you don't want to open up. You're in this nice embrace and it's just there. And I'd rather I see why people just walk, and that's nice. Because you just really just want to walk with an embrace. That's it. That's all you need.
Yes.
Right? What else do you want? Just don't ruin this thing. Just keep moving and move this thing around the room.
I know, because it's like because you're kind of afraid of like
the Jenga tower is gonna knock over.
Yeah, like it's that's the thing. It's like it's really not delicate, but you think it is delicate because sometimes I thought it was delicate, and I used to be like, I'm just gonna walk, right? But then for some reason, like the embrace made me do cicadas, and I was like, it freaked me out. But then I was like, oh wow, I could actually really do cicadas, you know? And again, it was enchanting and bewitched are the best words I can describe because my brain was turned off. I wasn't thinking about the music. It was almost like I was high, you know? I don't know how to really explain it because it was almost like it's not an out of body experience, but it's reaching there in a way.
Do you think this can be taught?
Yeah, definitely. I think it can be taught, but I think as an American, we have to break through some cultural barriers. Because the reason why I say that is, I was taking a private, and we're mentioning the embrace,
Yeah.
and one of the things that the maestro said to me was that you have to it's almost because this is when I got to the whole like emotional content of the
Right.
you
They
know.
make you. It makes you feel the music.
Yeah.
That's what the best thing. I almost feel the sadness of the song, the tragedy of the dance.
Yeah.
In the embrace.
Yeah, but what I mean is, it's hard for someone to dance and say, I dance because I love you and I want you to love me, right? And not it go beyond this weird like sexual thing. Because it's like you wholeheartedly give yourself to somebody.
Right. In that 12 minutes, you give
Yeah.
everything and show like you're in a frozen molecule of time. You're like lovers or like
Yeah.
I don't know, distant lovers or whatever, some kind of thing.
Yeah, or star-crossed,
Star-crossed lovers.
soulmates. Yeah,
Okay. Yes.
yeah, because it doesn't have to be lovers,
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. It's like it's this idea, and like I'm not saying that I have it, but I'm trying to. I think I'm inching my way towards that, and the starting ground for me was this private where they told me to dance more emotionally and to give my emotion to somebody and to love somebody, to have them love me
Make
back.
them feel.
Yeah, like love them, make them feel love, and make them
Want to give that love back.
Yeah, and make them feel that you want their love.
Yeah.
And so when I started dancing thinking about that, like, and it was really awkward at first because, especially with the culture I come from, like Asian culture, American culture, the whole idea of love and displays of love is kind of like
Yeah, that is.
it's not, I don't want to say taboo, but it's a tricky thing that I don't have a lot of experience in.
Yeah.
So then I had to start thinking about like, okay, how do I dance as if I'm dancing with like my pet cat? Like no, because
What?
No, because the thing is like I love my cat.
Okay.
I love my cat.
That's where you're going with that.
Because the thing is like I didn't have an understanding of how do I express love to a person and have them love me back. But I could think about that with like a pet.
Yeah.
And then I started ramping up from that. But I need like a starting ground. And now it's almost like I don't want to go around saying that I dance with people thinking that I want to seduce them.
Right.
But in a sense, that's the type of emotion I want to like. I'm trying to give.
You want to show affection.
Yeah.
Be affectionate.
Yeah.
We're not a very affectionate culture.
No, we're not. But that's what I mean. It's like I need that starting ground, and so I think it can be learned, but it's really difficult to break through that cultural barrier, and I think I'm still chipping away at it. So I think that's a starting ground. And how about you?
It's interesting because I remember some visiting instructors come here and they were like, well, you guys are all very comfortable with like really closely hugging each other and giving your bodies to the other person. But at the same time, are we connecting on an emotional level with the music, with that physicality? I don't know. And I remember When I first started, that's all I heard parroted in my head. It's all about the embrace. The embrace is everything. It's all about the embrace. Dance from the embrace. Like everything's from the embrace. And so it was kind of like a robotic thing for me to find like, I gotta search for what this embrace means. What does this mean with the embrace? How do I connect with the embrace? And then that actually kind of set me back a long time in my tango in the first few years because I was so locked in on the embrace that I forgot about the ground. And because, they don't mention that.
Yeah.
They don't mention that you should be grounded and how to use the ground. Everyone talks about the embrace, but yeah, you got to be grounded to use your embrace. Otherwise, you're just, I don't know, it doesn't really work. And so then I went through this whole loop, like roundabout way of, all right, it was all about embrace, and then no, it's all about the ground. And no, now it's back about the embrace. And so it's a weird thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And definitely. Going from like my start from the emotional side of things, I think so. It's one barrier to go with to break through the cultural barrier of the emotional side of things. I think it's also another thing with the physical side, because I think I had to relearn how to use my muscles, and what I mean is, I'm used to like the bear hug. Like from martial arts and everything, it's like squeeze in, hug, whatever. So I never really hugged with my back, and how to engage my back and how to like give my chest and everything.
Right.
So there's one shout out to a maestra I want to give, because I would say that she really gave me the foundation of how to embrace a person. And that would be Virginia Pandolfi.
Oh, yeah.
There was because I remember she gave this lesson about the embrace, and I didn't understand it at the time, and I kind of scoffed at it. I was like, I don't know, that looks like really painful and everything.
It's,
Yeah. And I kind of like ignored it as, as, I don't want to say it like, I don't want to say hogwash, but it's like I didn't appreciate at the time because I was too new, and I was like, I don't know, like that looks like you're putting a lot of stress in the lower back, and but when I started searching for the embrace, she gave me a visualization that really helped me out, because I'm a very visual person, and if I don't see it, I don't understand it.
Okay.
And the visualization she gave me was like, to stretch out like you're trying to get coffee, a coffee cup mug from your cabinet, but your stomach hit the counter. So you're stretching your upper body without, And at the time I was like, oh man, that looks like so painful for your lower back because it looks like your butt's sticking out and everything.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to do it properly. But then when I started learning how to do it properly, like, oh, this makes total sense. And that visualization still sticks with me.
The extension up.
Yeah, because I'm like, because it's an everyday thing. Like, oh, get your coffee, kind of hit your stomach. It's like, oh, to stretch out, it makes total sense to me. And like, I need that visualization. Otherwise, when people start using these things like, oh, the Argentine embrace, like move through them and all this other stuff, I'm like, what does that mean? I have no idea.
Yeah.
But the visualization of the counter hit your stomach, you don't want to get your step stool, and you're stretching to get your coffee mug. I'm like, okay, I can do that, So
Right.
I think Virginia Pandolfi is an amazing maestra, and I definitely recommend anyone taking her classes. And if you take it private with her, ask about the embrace. She has an amazing embrace. She teaches it very well, and I would say probably the best teacher I've had for the embrace.
I actually think more of the workshops and teaching that I've seen from traveling instructors have now shifted from crazy sequences to now more connecting, embrace type things. I think that is more of the trend that I've seen, because I remember that it was very rare out of all the workshops, all the privates, all the things, not privates, but all the workshops and group classes that I've seen or been experienced, they rarely talk about the embrace in a very deep manner. In a technical manner. To break down the embrace.
I agree. I think there's only, out of all the teachers I've had, like in the workshops, I think there's only 2 teachers I've had that talked about the embrace. The rest were all done through privates.
Yeah.
And maybe they might have said it like in passing, like, oh, you're supposed to do this, this, and this, but it wasn't like the whole class on the embrace.
Right.
So the other shout out I have to give was Ivan and Sarah. Like they spent a lot of
Yvonne?
time. Yeah, I'm sorry, Yvonne. They spent a lot of time breaking it down, and yeah, totally enjoy that.
I think it's hard to demonstrate the embrace. That's one reason why I think a lot of the traveling instructors or teachers don't focus on it. It's one, it's hard to demo. Two, it's hard to it's very, you have to feel it. It's one of those things that's it's even hard to visualize, and not just demo it, but it's hard to visualize. And also, I think some students don't feel like they need it. They want to learn the
Yeah, because we're always like, oh, it's what are the steps? What are the steps?
yeah.
You know?
And so I think there's a lot of things that arise where we actually never get to a more technical approach to what the embrace is and what it should be. And so, yeah.
You know, it's kind of funny that you mentioned that. I think that the Meisters are shifting more towards the embrace now. Actually, I think it's the exact opposite.
Really?
And I think it might be just because what we gravitate towards. Like, I think now because like my interest is more into stage and performance, that I'm seeing more showy stuff.
Yeah.
Where before I was more interested in the embrace, I was chasing the embrace, and all I saw were like social embrace stuff and social, social dance moves because I was searching for that.
I remember seeing a post from, I think it was Chicho, that was mentioning something about how everyone's focusing on the ground and people are forgetting about being from the embrace. So it's interesting, I guess.
Well, maybe it's just like everyone teaches what they're focused on, and maybe like it goes in waves like bell bottoms. It comes back, it comes back.
Tango fashion.
Yeah. Next thing you know, like, hey, 10 years from now, Baxicata's gonna be back in style.
Back in style. Did it ever go out of style?
Yeah, it did.
Did really?
I think it did.
No. I think everyone chases for the Baxicata, and I think people are still impressed with the Baxicata. Yeah. In a performance, if you see a performer do several Baxicatas in a row, you know they're going to get applause.
Okay, you got me there.
1,000%.
You got me there.
Any more than 2 Baxicatas in a row, you're going to get an applause. And if there's a follower Baxicata in there, you're definitely going to get an applause.
All right, you know what? Actually, I'm going to put that to the test. Like, I'm gonna try to do a performance, and maybe I should do a thing. Maybe I should do a thing where I'm gonna do 1 Baxicata, see how much applause. Do 2. Like, is 3 the threshold? No, but yeah, no. The embrace is definitely. I don't see. Again, I think it's just one of those things where. Because I'm more focused on other things now, I'm seeking out other teachers who teach a certain thing.
Yeah.
So maybe the whole thing is, maybe what you're seeing taught more is more because you're interested more in the social side of tango. Maybe that's what you're seeing now.
Perhaps. I think that's good because I think if people focus more on the connection part of the dance, I think it will breed for better navigation on the floor, better social dancing in general. I think, yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like, there's also a danger to the embrace, and this is just my opinion. And I think that the danger is that sometimes, which you mentioned, that sometimes people focus so much on the embrace that there's no technique. And I see that a lot. I see that a lot with some of the dancers. They focus so much on the embrace and
they become top heavy.
Yeah, they go top heavy, and then all they're doing is they're just shuffling on the bottom.
Yeah.
And it's just like a little what's that? The toy, that little robot. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I can't think of the name, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
But sometimes when I look at them along, that's what it looks like. It's just people hugging, and you just hear this,
I wanted to say Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but I know that's not it. But I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I think that's one of the dangers. Like definitely the embrace is important, but also like the floor, the ground's important. The push. To off the standing legs is really important. Down to it, I think the fundamentals are really important, and I think if you focus only on the embrace and forget about the other fundamentals, you're not doing yourself a favor. That's all I'm saying. Try to hit all of the fundamentals, but don't forget about the embrace. And don't forget about the ground. Fundamentals are important.
I wonder if you have the Argentinian embrace. Like, you know, like how do you like did or just only other people know and you don't know?
That's a good question. You know, maybe you should ask that to an Argentine person. Like, hey, do you know you have the Argentina brace? Well, I was born there. You know? I myself know I do not have the Argentina brace because I think I have a nice embrace because even people from Europe have said like it's nice and I've got a good thing going.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go as far as saying I have an Argentine embrace. I don't have like the opus maxim of the embrace. You know.
I think I'm getting close. I don't know. I don't know, but I think I'm getting close. I think I'm aiming towards that. Or getting. That's one of my goals.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if my goal is the Argentine embrace anymore. I think my goal is to have a more unique, a unique embrace. Do I want my embrace to be enchanting and bewitching? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I want my embrace to dance through a person? Yes. But also at the same time, I don't want to lose my personality and my uniqueness.
That's true.
By chasing something I'm not.
Yeah.
Like I'm not Argentine.
Yeah.
I don't have Argentine culture in my bones.
That's 1,000%.
So do I want to leverage things from the Argentine embrace? 100% I do. But where I'm at right now, I think it's okay to not be Argentine and like to not dance like an Argentine and but like respect the culture and like be more of a unique individual. And yeah, that's just me.
I mean, it's valid. It's fair. I mean, I think that's the biggest critic, or that's the biggest critique for the Mundial is that the Mundial kind of trains people to look a certain way and dance a certain way.
And we're all homogenous.
Yeah, homogenous, and people don't like that, especially more of the people that come from more of the older generations, where it was all about your unique flavor, it's all about you finding your own steps or your own way of doing a step. And I think we've lost that in a lot of ways because people feel like this is the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, and also I think a lot of that comes from the judges too. Like if all the judges come from like a certain background, naturally they're going to lean a certain way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, talk about Argentine embrace. Like, what are other embraces that you like? Since I'm not trying to be Argentine per se, or what are do you like the French embrace? I love the French embrace. Yeah.
I don't even know if I've experienced the French embrace. Is that a thing?
I think it is.
It is?
I think it is.
That's the first time I've heard that.
I think the French have a very unique embrace. It's
Okay.
it's hard to explain, but it's definitely not. It doesn't feel Argentine to me. It's very French. I don't want to like dwell into stereotypes like, oh, it's artistic and creative, and you know.
Yeah.
But it has the ones I've experienced. They have this like this very I don't know. It's like this homely feeling, you know. If I were to close my eyes, like
French.
No, Like if I were to close my eyes, I think of like just like some some village cottage. It's like this warm homely like feeling. But the Argentine embrace, it feels more like if I were to close my eyes, I was probably it's like there's a bit of there's a certain amount of sadness in there that I don't feel from the French. You know,
I totally get that, yeah.
You know, where like, so yeah, I love the French embrace, love the Russian embrace.
Okay.
You know,
I've actually never thought of the context of this in terms of other countries other than Argentina.
Yeah.
So you're actually just bringing out this stuff is all really new to me.
Yeah,
I mean, only in the States, there's like the Portland embrace.
Yeah. Well, the Portland embrace is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it.
I think New York has a specific feel.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would classify anything specifically New York embrace.
Or East Coast.
East Coast, I would say that they definitely have a more technical side. I feel like the East Coast is much more technical than the West Coast. Yeah.
Southern.
So I wouldn't classify anything.
Yeah, but definitely I'd say Portland is definitely I would say the apex of the West Coast in the United States for the embrace.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think San Francisco probably follows right after that. I think that's kind of similar.
I don't know. I'll take LA over San Francisco, but that's just me.
Well, we're not known for our close embrace.
There's a few followers that like that make LA worth it for me.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm sorry.
LA,
Like,
we're known for our flashy uniqueness or
Okay,
different styles.
maybe I just I just found like a magic pocket. You know?
Okay.
But no, like there are a few people that like they really do it for me in terms of the embrace. And
No, I'm of course. I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
not the case, but I'm just saying in terms of what our reputation is.
yeah, no, you got a point there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased towards LA, and I'm like San Francisco. Ew. no, just
Oh my
hey,
God.
shots fired, shots fired.
Nah, I feel like when you mention a certain group or like city, you mention a certain style.
Yeah.
And so that's all I was talking about.
No, I get you. I get you.
Yeah. But yeah, we want to know what you think about your embrace or the Argentinian embrace, and if you believe you have that kind of embrace or have experienced it before. We would like to know because we're just kind of sharing our own personal experiences and on this thing called the Argentinian embrace. And whether you believe that or not, it's up to you. But yeah, let us know in the comments. And thank you all so much for watching our latest episode. And we will catch you on the next one.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Left Foot, Right Foot. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and notification bell to keep up to us in our latest content.
Yeah, it really goes a long way. We've come a long way so far, and we really appreciate everyone's support in helping us grow this channel and all supporting our lifelong path of really getting social dancing out there and allowing other people to find their way to Argentine Tango.